Message from Sir Rodney to Sir Reginald, delivered via Chrome Telegraph number 7, the one that sparks when annoyed. Reginald, if this message reaches you at the correct moment, and not 3 hours before you read it, as happened last time, then my adjustments to the temporal splice relay were finally holding. You asked how I managed to control the dilation drift. The short answer, I didn't. I negotiated with it. Time, as it turns out, behaves less like a river and more like a stubborn mule. Kicks when it's started, refuses to move when pushed, and only responds to the general coaxing of an occasional bribe. Once I stopped trying to force the splice open instead of letting it choose the path of least resistance, the dilation stabilized for now. The longer answer, I discovered that each splice has a natural rhythm and the oscillation between potential timelines. By tapping into that rhythm, literally tapping, the device responds to the percussive input. I can align the outgoing message with precise micro-moment where the timeline is most permeable. Think of it as slipping a note between the pages of a book while someone is still flipping through it. Do not attempt to replicate this without gloves or supervision or me. If you feel a slight tug behind your left ear within the next hour, that's normal. If you feel strong tug, duck. That means the splice is trying to open on your side, and it has terrible aim. More soon, assuming the time string doesn't eat this message upon delivery. Rodney. Reginald finishes listening to Sir Rodney's tape message. The chronograph telegraph gives at least one last bzzz of static, like it's clearing its throat.
Yes, Rodney, this mentioned a normal tug. The tug becomes a yank. A shimmering tear in the air opens up behind him, a vertical ripple like someone unzipping utilities. Papers fly, the lamp flickers, the rug tries to escape. Oh no! Oh, no. Rodney, what did you do? The splice widens and the sound the cosmic hiccup. Then a raccoon with a tiny fedora steps out, followed by another raccoon wearing sunglasses indoors, followed by a third raccoon dragging a miniature upright bass. Oh dear. The raccoon with the fedora speaks sharply, snapping his fingers. 3 more raccoons spill out of the splice carrying a trumpet made from a funnel and copper tubing, a drum kit made out of tin lids, a saxophone that looks suspiciously like stolen HVAC parts. The band assembles instantly, like they have done this 1,000 times in 1,000 timelines. The fedora raccoon taps its foot, chitters in a smooth, jazzy cadence. Chloe, translation?
Of course, translation. Raccoon Jazz Collective 7B reporting for engagement. We were summoned by temporal misfire. Do you require ambulance?
No ambulance. Absolutely no ambulance. The band begins playing anyway. Shockingly tight swing number that rattles the windows and makes the bookshelf sway in rhythm. The time splice between them shudders like a dying sparkler. Warning! Splice says instability increasing. Probability of additional raccoon musician 87%. Additional? No, we can't support a bigger band.
The splice burps out a raccoon with a vibraphone, a raccoon with a conductor's baton, and a raccoon carrying a tiny velvet tip jar.
Why is there a tip jar?
Cross-timeline union regulations require gratuity opportunities. The band leader chitters again, pointing at Reginald expectantly.
I'm not tipping you. You invaded my study.
The raccoons all stare at him with the soulful, disappointed jazz musician eyes. The music shifts into a slow, mournful blues.
Oh, don't you dare guilt trip me with key change.
The splice crackles violently. Splice collapse imminent. Recommended evacuation or improvisation. Improvisation?
I don't even play an instrument.
The raccoon heads to the tambourine.
Reginald. Oh, no. The band leader nodded solemnly. The splice begins sucking inward like a reverse tornado.
Join the rhythm or be consumed.
What? What kind of advice is that?
The raccoons count in. Reginald, panicking, shakes the tambourine wildly. The splice stabilizes. The raccoons cheer. The music swells. And with one fizzy, jazzy flourish, the entire band and the raccoon Reginald's tambourine gets sucked back into the collapsing splice. Silence.
A single raccoon, fedora flutters on the floor.
Temporal anomaly resolved. Would you like to schedule a follow-up with sclerogeny?
Yes, tell him he owes me a tambourine.
Rodney's lab later that night. Rodney is elbow deep in a tangle of glowing coils when Reginald storms in, still dusted with raccoon fur and temporal glitter.
Rodney, explain now.
Rodney doesn't look up. Oh, you met the band.
Met them? They held me hostage with a tambourine solo.
Rodney sighs, pulls a lever, and the coils settle to a low hum. Timeline 7B is musically inclined. It's the ones where the raccoons achieved sentience, and before human invented jazz, naturally they combined the two.
Naturally.
They're quite famous there. The Raccoon Jazz Collective won the equivalent of the Grammy twice.
Rodney, why were they able to cross into my study?
Rodney hesitates. Because technically they're the first beings to ever respond to your original time splice prototype. Reginald freezes.
Rodney, I told you never activate that thing again.
I didn't. The splice myth fired on its own, which means your invasion is still resonating across the timelines. It's calling out.
Calling out to jazz raccoons?
Apparently your invasion has taste. Reginald, you never did. You actually told me how you invented time splicing in the first place. Reginald looks away, suddenly sheepish.
Because it wasn't supposed to work. It was an accident.
Rodney blinks. An accident?
I was trying to fix the kettle.
The kettle?
Yes, it kept boiling water before I turned it on. I assumed it was broken. Turns out it was predicting the moment I'd want tea.
Rodney pinches the bridge of his nose. Reginald, you invented a temporal response by arguing with the kettle?
It started it.
And you didn't think to mention this during our Nobel Prize exceptions piece?
I didn't think it was important. I mean, just because it's an accident doesn't mean that you have to sit here and go like, yeah, I did it because I was pissed off at a water kettle. I mean, how would that look?
I understand. Well, you have a good day. I'll see you in a couple days. You do know that when you invented this, you were told that you were the smartest human on the face of the planet.
Yes, but something happened on one of the splices, and I lost some of that. I don't know how much, but some of that.